Gentlemen, there are seats available at the front here. Through this meeting, you will regret not coming and sitting down in one of these seats. Right, are we ready to go? Chairperson? All good. Right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to this most well-attended public meeting that Malvern CPF has hosted since I've joined. I think you should give yourselves a hand. It shows to me that you are interested in the safety of your community. So thank you for being here this evening. I'd like to acknowledge all of our members that are here in attendance. We have Colonel in the house with us. Colonel, I did greet you earlier on this evening. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We have our acting station commander, Captain Governor. We have Captain Subramani from Metro Police. We have station commander Arunachalam. Is that correct, sir? Okay. From etiquini Metro Fire. We have other uniformed SAPS members that are here with us this evening, all our security partners and our patrollers, but most importantly, our community members. Thank you for being here. Welcome. We're going to get this meeting started, and I'm going to now call on Pastor Clarence to open for us in prayer.
Most gracious God and loving Father, as we greet you in Jesus' name, we thank you for this day that you have made and this gathering that you have gathered us together in one chord, one spirit, and one mind. Father, I pray, Lord, even as we commit this meeting before you, that you will give us the wisdom, the peace, the knowledge, and the understanding of how to go forward and how to plan and progress. I thank you, Lord, by seeing the numbers here, we are already in one heart, wanting one purpose. I pray that you'll continue to bless us, the furtherance of this meeting. Let this meeting be fruitful and multiply and have good product of what the outcome and the end result will be. We thank you that you'll watch over us, cover us, shield us, and protect us. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you so much for that, Pastor Clarence. Always very important to invoke divine blessing over any one of our gatherings. Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick note. Our PROs, which is at the front here, will be taking photos for our social media platforms. Anybody has an objection to those photos, please see me, and we'll make sure that obviously your photo is not posted. Obviously, we do appreciate your being here, and we'd like to show the rest of our community the tremendous attendance that we have here this evening. Alright, so we're going to move straight ahead, and I do understand that some of you do not have a copy of the agenda. Unfortunately, we did cater for about 100, I believe, and we've got way more than that present. So apologies for that, and also the minutes from the previous meeting, we did have copies, but unfortunately we weren't able to hand that out to everybody. The apologies this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to read through that quickly. Dave Phillips from Eskom, Paul McLaughlin, our EXCO member, Kobe from Parkside, Diana, our youth chairperson, Xander Naidu, our deputy youth chairperson, Sebastian from Homeland Security, July, our EXCO member, Colonel Lobo from Metro Police, and he's represented here this evening by Captain Subramani, and then we have an apology from Councillor Samantha Winvogel. Any other apologies to note? O'Neill and Cleo from, Chloe from the youth desk. Any other apologies to note?
Sam from Eskom and Renee from Eskom. And Sam, Renee
Alright, Leanne, you noted? Sanele from the Department of Community Safety and Liaison. Any other apologies to note? Madam Chair, no further apologies to note. Alright, the attendance, ladies and gentlemen, as per the register, I do understand that some of you were not able to fill the register out. There are 2 registers that are currently floating around, one for the Department of Community Safety and Liaison, and the other one for Malvern CPF. If you haven't filled out that register, please do see Leanne at the end of this meeting, and she'll ensure that you get that done. Right, so the minutes of the previous meeting, for those of you who do have a copy, we're just going to go through those minutes quickly. Our previous meeting was held on the 31st of March at 6:30. The venue was Parkside Primary School Hall. And we proceed with the minutes, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. And that is the final page. Right, ladies and gentlemen, can I please have somebody to adopt the previous minutes? Obviously somebody who was in attendance. We have Lauren and Kim. Right, my apologies. I'd like to also note the 2 councillors that are seated here. Anybody else that I have not mentioned, I do apologize for not mentioning you in advance. Right, any matters arising from the previous minutes? Madam Secretary? No matters arising. Right, just a little bit of house rules, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed with the meeting. We ask that you please put your cell phones on silent. Please be courteous and follow the course of the meeting. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and once you're acknowledged by myself, you will be able to ask your question. This is a church, and we ask that you please not smoke on the church premises. Unfortunately, for those of you that do smoke, you're going to have to do so on the road. Alright, thank you very much for adhering to those house rules. Alright, so item number 6 on our agenda, ladies and gentlemen, is Malvern SAPS and crime discussion. I'm now going to hand you over to our acting station commander, Captain C. Governor. You may applaud.
Thank you, sir. That wasn't necessary though, but thank you. Good evening, everybody. I think it's kind of lanky that's in the house. Where's the colonel? I can't see her. Maybe my sight is bad. Oh, at the back. Thank you, colonel. Appreciate your presence. Good to see our senior officers supporting the members of the executive, other SAPS members, Metro Police, Chikwini Fire, patrollers, and the community at large. Thank you very much. I must say the attendance is excellent. We haven't had this sort of attendance since I've been here, and that's since July last year. But thank you, greatly appreciated. And to echo the sentiments is that it seems that you guys are interested in your own safety, and that is important. I always say that our safety, first and foremost, is our own responsibility. Before we place that responsibility on the police and all other law enforcement, everybody else, it's our own responsibility. responsibility, and I can see that your presence tells me that you're concerned about your own safety. Okay, seeing that this is a community meeting, I'm going to give you a very brief rundown of crime. And currently, and I didn't bring a whole lot of stats because I didn't want to bore you with it. So currently, the crimes that are plaguing us, and when I say Malvern, I won't talk specifically, I'll talk with the entire precinct, is, I think I've said this before, it's fraud. It's a crime that we can't do much about, but nonetheless, we need to bring it to your attention because you, family, friends, neighbors are people that are being scammed. We're reporting cases every single day. A lot of it is online fraud. One of the trends that I've picked up now is that the theft of your bank cards, it's back on the rise again. So we've had like about 5-6 cases in the last week, 2 weeks. One of our main points is ABSA at Pick and Pay Center, and then the other one is NetBank. Haven't had much incidents with other banks. Another crime that is giving us a very hard time, that is infrastructure theft, your copper theft. Not one that can be policed easily because it's on your property. We may drive on the road, we may do foot patrol, we may patrol with a vehicle, and it's not an easy one to police. But as residents, business owners, even as visitors, if you get school here, make them less visible. Put them into the wall if you have to. Change them to PVC, polycop, whatever that's out there. Because it's just become an easy way for people to make money. And you know that we do have the M7. We've got Huntley. I'm not saying that all the criminals are there, don't get me wrong. But a lot of so-called undesirables, for a better word, come from there. And that's their way of surviving. Take your pipe, sell it for a few rands, and they survive. Whether it's for drugs, whether it's for food, whatever it is for. Another crime that was giving us a bit of uphill in the last 2 months or so was the theft of gate motors. So I'm sure some of you sitting here have lost your gate motors or your controllers or PCI boards. But I just want to make mention is that my chairperson and his team made a very good breakthrough. They made an excellent arrest for a known suspect who was arrested prior, got released by the court, and they managed to apprehend him or spot him, and obviously with the help of the police, he was arrested. We kept him for 48 hours, we remanded him for 7 days, and yesterday we objected and opposed his bail and remanded him to Westwood Prison. But what I can say is, since his arrest, and that's about 2 weeks, we haven't had a single case. So it tells me that he was the person that was giving us a hard time. But the investigation is still ongoing. I'm actually personally took an interest in it. But I won't say too much because that would jeopardize the investigation. And that's about it. The other crimes, like assault, it's one that's very difficult for us to police. In most cases, assault, which is quite high in our precinct. But the problem with that is it's either people are known to each other, they are either in relationships, they are family, and unfortunately that's within, most of the time happening within closed doors. So you don't just get random people walking the street assaulting each other. So that one is difficult to police. So the only thing we can do is to educate, but I would be educating the wrong people. So but we are doing awareness, reach the community. I know sometimes alcohol is also a contributor, but not in all cases. Other than that, we don't have too much of serious crime. Our housebreakings are a bit of a decline. Theft of motor vehicle, which was a worry once, is not anymore. We got our random cases, and guys, don't get me wrong. There's no way I'm going to stand here and tell you there are no black area. It's not going to happen. So those hot cases that we have, I know to the victims it might sound like, hey, you know what, it's my car, my property. But unfortunately, you're going to get those. I'm not going to stand here and tell you we're going to prevent all of those crimes. It won't be possible. But what is possible is the people that you see in this very bright jackets, they help keep this community safe. They help us make this community safe. And I am very grateful that I've got an awesome support and partnership from the CPF. Together with my other law enforcement partners, Metro Police, we work very well together, RTI. But it makes the world of difference. And often people stand on the sidelines and they comment, or they will say something. Don't say something, do something, get involved. Join your CPF. Not compelling you to, but it'll work for you. Because I said my very first statement was, your safety is your responsibility, first and foremost. So, get involved. Give a little bit of your time. I know we all got busy lives, but this is your community. Most of you live here, work here, or even you work outside of the community, those that got businesses. This is your interest, your vested interest. So get involved, because you know that SAPS doesn't have the capacity. And that's not an excuse, it's just a reality. We gotta be realistic. We'd be fooling ourselves and kidding ourselves to tell you that you guys go home and sleep peacefully, we'll take care of everything. Yes, we do. We do the best we can do with what we have. But we need that added support. So that's just my encouragement to you guys. Please encourage even your neighbors and your relatives that are in the area to come and join. It would make the world of difference. Other than that, I'm not going to say too much more about crime. Okay, this is something I'm just going to point out to you. Okay, if I look at the strength of my station, so on average, I think you all know we've got shifts that work 24 hours. 4 shifts on average, I got 7 people per shift, or 6. And in most cases, 1 patrol van. Now, if any one of you drove around Malvern, if you think it's possible to police this area with just 1 patrol van, then you realize that it's not. So sometimes I know you get frustrated with the police. You might feel like we don't make you feel important when you complain. But you also got to consider the circumstances and how our resources are deployed. And remember, we're human. So those members that are there, they get sick. They have to take vacation leave. Those are the realities. So there are times when we struggle with it. But we never have a situation where we never have a van. And I'll tell you why that will never happen. Because I'm the type of person that if I don't have personnel, I will leave my home, I will jump in that van and I'll tend to your complaint. Because I believe we're here to serve this community. So, my crime prevention, or as we call them, sector teams, we've got 2 vehicles for most of the time. There are those odd occasions when I might have 1. And I've got 2 groups that work 4 days on, 4 days off. And you might want to know why the relevance. It is relevant. You must know. You must know what resources the police have. So you'll have an idea the next time when you feel you're frustrated about why we're not responding timeously, or then you will understand. The other thing is that I always do this, and I give you guys my cell phone number, but I think most of you have it. If you don't have it, take it down. So if you got a challenge and you can't get hold of the police via 10111, via the station, you call me. I'll take your call. My number is 079 500 202. I also will encourage you to have an open door policy. So you can walk in to the station and ask to see me, provided I'm there. Don't come on a Sunday, you might not find me. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I don't live in this community. But I sure do take pride in my work. And I believe that I didn't join this organization because I had no choice. I didn't join this organization because I didn't have another job. It's a passion, it's a calling. So this might not be the community I live in, but it certainly is the community I'm willing to die for. But it's how I pride myself. I joined this organization because I wanted to, not forced to. So I do my work as diligently as I can, as professionally as I can, and I give 200%. I'm here almost 7 days a week. And that is because it's who I am. I believe that I'm here to serve the community. Alright, enough about me. I don't want to brag anymore. Okay, I know why you guys filled this building today. Okay. 6.4. Okay. Okay. Alright, 6.4 as I was pointed out. Right. Okay, I think we all know the infamous June 30th. And I think we've all been watching the news, social media, posters, podcasts, and whatever else. This is not something that we just stumbled upon today. We've known about it. I think we've had a few meetings, chairperson, if you correct me, we've had a few meetings about it. The district, the T20 district, we've been meeting, I think for the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks now, every Friday. We've got a meeting with them tomorrow morning. There was a virtual meeting today with the province of KwaZulu-Natal and all the district commissioners and provincial staff, all the station commanders, the squad commanders were present at that virtual meeting to present the state of readiness. Okay. I know, one must not put fear into people, but fear creates activation. And we must always remember that what might seem like a rumor to you or might seem like something small, if it becomes a reality and eventuality, you'll find yourself wanting. So we're not going to say that June 30 is a looming threat. It's a threat. It's a threat, and if you are to risk categorize it, it's a high risk threat. So it's going to happen. If it doesn't, well, thank you. We appreciate that. It makes everybody's life a little bit easier if it doesn't. But it's going to happen. So the biggest possibility is that I don't know if you've come across the ATFD, All Truck Drivers Forum. They are going to block the national routes, so our freeways. And once they do that, they're going to expect then the police to respond. And if we draw our resources there, it leaves the suburbs, the towns, the businesses open to, if I had to say it like this, free for all. But yeah. So what you must also understand, a lot of people, or criminals, let's put it this way, the criminals, they will hide under the guise of these things. So as much as March and March started with a reason to remove foreigners from South Africa. That is the cause that that organization is fighting for. But as much as they are fighting for it, criminals and those that have criminal intent are going to use that as an opportunity to then loot, damage, destroy, bring harm, because in that rush people will be assaulted, people will be injured, infrastructure damaged, people's property. So what I'm saying to you is, let's not take that threat lightly. And I know that all of you sitting here were waiting for this particular conversation. I'm sure you didn't come to hear my crime stats. Okay. But I'd encourage you to come every month and listen to it, so you know what's happening in your community. So we have, from the SAPS point of view, we have a contingency plan in place. So I'll give you a brief rundown of what we're going to do at the station. Remember, Malvern's a very small station. We don't have a large capacity. But what we've decided to do is that all operational members will be drawn into operational duty. So effectively, we will start their duties from Sunday night, and we'll run all the way to Wednesday evening, and then we reassess from there. Where if things are quiet and it's quiet, if it flares up and we have to do what we have to do, then we will continue. Okay, so in all that said, I think I've got 12 vehicles that are operational. Probably have like maybe about 50 operational members. I've got to split them between day and night. So I will have day and night members on duty. The community service center will still run as per usual. So if you have any issues, any crime to report, you're still welcome to walk in there. Probably be the safest place for you to be. But yeah, that's just a rundown of what resources we have. Then you must remember we also got specialized units that will not be static here, but they're available at a phone call. So you'll have public order policing, you'll have the TRT, even the task force, and all of those people will be available. They may not necessarily be everywhere due to the limited manpower, but if the need be to call them in, they will come. I also believe that the SANDF is on standby. Definitive instruction from the president, but they will be on standby. Then from our partnership point of view, we've got our security companies. I think you all are familiar with all the security companies that are in the area. So it's difficult to give deployment there because they will be stretched, because Durban Central is the priority at the moment. I think most of you knew about the incident in Sherwood where people set up camp there. They all moved to Durban Central now. That's the foreigners I'm talking about. So the concern I think that the province has is that the people that, the so-called March on March, obviously the foreigners are now in one spot, which makes them an easy target for them. So if they do want to create chaos, they will go to the old driving site and cause chaos. So maximum deployment from their side will be there. Most of those specialized units will be based in the central area. Not to say that they will not be available to us, but if the need arises, they will. Okay, in terms of the CPF SAPs, the security companies, we wouldn't disclose exactly how and what are we going to do. But what I can reassure you is that we will be in the strategic points. We will cover all the exit and entry points. We'll obviously have communication with our intelligence so that we don't want a repeat of what transpired previously. And I think given the police were caught wanting, and a lot of that is also failure from the top structures, because they sat back, and unfortunately the community was punished for it. So I think the proactive stance that they are taking is to restore that faith in the community that we will do our best to protect you guys. Like I said, the partnerships that I have in the precinct with the CPF, the security companies, law enforcement like Metro, RTI, we've got a plan in place, but I won't divulge it because I know what happened. Information will fly, and then I can see a recording here, so it will fly far and wide. But we do have a plan to ensure that you guys are as safe as possible. The other thing is, I wanna encourage you to participate, to be proactive, but I don't want to also give you the belief that you're gonna go out there and practice vigilantism, and you're gonna go out there and brandish firearms and misbehave. And I take it that all of you are good citizens. I don't think you guys are going to misbehave. But please don't. If the thought exists, yes, you have a right to protect yourself. So to all the firearm owners, you may have firearm licenses that for your personal protection. You might have sporting firearms, you might be carrying a rifle, possessing rifles, shotguns. Section 49 is clear. You will use lethal force when your life is in imminent danger and in no other circumstance. But the firearm is not a weapon to threaten or intimidate anyone. So as much as we want to protect ourselves, let's not find ourselves on the wrong side of the law, because it can turn bad very quickly. And I know as we want to protect ourselves, we get into a panic and we do something that we're going to regret. And then you're going to say, but Captain, you're putting handcuffs on me. The minute you pull that trigger, you put the handcuffs on yourself. I didn't place those handcuffs on you. So I'm not trying to make you scared about your weapon. You passed all the tests and everything and all the theoretical part of everything, and you've got your license. So you're a licensed, but with that license comes responsibility. So utilize the firearm responsibly. And we had incidences in the previous riots where people just fired, shot people, and then disappeared. Left us to pick up the pieces. And that's not what this is about. Protection, protecting yourself, your community. And remember, when they say your life or anyone else's life is in imminent danger, so that is of your neighbor as well. But not to threaten me, not to just brandish your weapons and instill fear in anybody else. And the reason why I'm raising that is because that is important. As much as I want you to be ready for any eventuality, I also want you to be on the right side of the law. Don't find yourself on the other side. It can happen very quickly. And it'll turn you from being a citizen who's concerned about their safety and their community into being someone that's going to be behind bars. And you're going to then change your opinion now. Oh, I don't like the police. So let's be responsible, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, let me not say guys. Let's be responsible in the use of our weapons. We welcome you guys to be out and about. Be vigilant, observant, but do not be the heroes. So leave the police work to the police in the sense that you be the eyes and ears. Give us the information so that we can act on it. Don't take it into your own hands because, for one, it's not what you're tasked to do. It's not what you get paid to do. But your partnership towards us is to see and hear and pass that information on to us, and we will take the relative action. Okay. The other thing is, I know people would like to stand on the corners and the streets, but remember it's not also an opportunity to also flout the rules and the laws. So let's not make it into an opportunity where we're going to put up our prize stand and we're going to make it public drinking. But remember, law must still be complied with. As much as you might look at me and think, why are you talking about that? But it is important. Because when people are inebriated and you have a situation where you've got crowd management or sort of, you tend to then misbehave. And it can turn lethal for you or the other person, or anybody else for that matter. So let's be responsible in respect of that. Let's protect ourselves and our fellow community members. Let's assist the CPF, the police, the security companies, Metro Police, RTI, whoever else. Let's stand united. Let's stand for a common purpose, and that's to keep this community safe, to keep it free from damage, to keep it, to ensure that if this turns into the eventuality that this community stands, and it stands unarmed. And that is what we want. We do not, so the idea is to keep the people out who don't need to be, but within limit. So do not start beating people up. Like I'm saying, it turned a good situation into an ugly situation. So let's be responsible, let's be careful, let's abide by the law. But let's stand together and keep the community of Malvern safe. Not just your street, not just your neighbor, not just your house, your community. And your community is this entire community, from one end to the other. Let's do the responsible thing. If you see something happening, or you see something that's in a group of people, call us. Call your patrollers or your CIBs or chairperson, so that we can take the necessary action. Without being too long, I just want you guys to know, and I'm going to reiterate this. Treat this as the threat it is. And why I'm saying this to you and I'm reiterating it to you is you might walk out from here and say, nothing's going to happen. When it happens, you're going to be the one that is in scratching your head and saying, I should have listened. So rather be safe than sorry. We rather be over-prepared than be under-prepared. We rather guard our entry and exit points and make sure nothing comes in and goes out of Malvern, no damage and harm, injury, death. And if it didn't happen, and we all stood there, be it for as many hours, it's still a job well done. So it doesn't mean if nothing happened, it was futile. It could also mean that because you were so vigilant and so proactive, that people who decided that they wanted to do something decided against it. But let's always do everything within the ambit of the law. That's the most important thing. So let's not be vigilantes, let's not do things lawlessly. Let's comply with what the law asks us to do. Be our eyes and ears. Be our force multipliers. In the police service, we always hear them use that term, force multipliers, because that's what you guys become. Right, guys, you still got some time to join the CPF. So if you want to really protect your community, not just on this occasion, do join them, because that's the only organization you can join. Unfortunately, the South African Police Service used to have a very nice reserve force. Unfortunately, they are not recruiting at the moment. So at least your community base will be your CPF. So for those that are not part of it and would like to join, I encourage you to join them. The more we have, the better it is. And I always tell people I'm fortunate. When I came here to Malvern, on most cases, I always have one patrol van and maybe one crime prevention. But I sleep peacefully at night, although I don't live here. And the reason for that is because I got more than 20 or 40 vehicles on a day or night basis. That's with the CPF, the security companies, Metro Police. So I'm fortunate. And you ask yourself, if you look at crime around our suburbs, to your neighboring suburbs, you ask yourself why then is the crime of Malvern not as high as our neighbors? Obviously we're doing something right. We're not perfect, but we're doing something right. So contribute towards it, and it will help all of us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I know I was a little bit long, but I'm going to hand over now. Thank you.
Right, Captain, thank you for that. We're going to be moving one of our agenda items, the crime discussion, item number 8. We're going to be moving that up. We're going to give you, the community, the opportunity to engage with Captain Governor and ask him the questions that you believe are pertinent to what may be going on Tuesday. So I hand now over to you, the community. Please raise your hand, and once I acknowledge you, you have to give us your name for the record, and Captain will answer those questions to the best of his ability. Right, I'm going to walk to you, ma'am, so that everybody can hear you. That means me walking back for him to answer your question.
Hi, I'm Michelle. We have seat being scrapped. We're just wanting to know, do you anticipate any disruption to public transport, any problems with the gateway between Peterborough and Chatsworth, as well as Shellcross on Monday and Tuesday?
I apologize for that. There's quite a bit of interference on the mic there. Captain, did you hear that?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Definitely, one of the things that would always be interrupted is your public transport. So for sure, you can expect interruptions. And then if you're talking about Shellcross, remember we got Burlington. And so definitely if they're going to activate themselves from that point of view, they would definitely then close that corridor between Shellcross and Malvern, or Queensborough for that matter. Okay.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, anybody else? Well, the Captain was really thorough in his communication with you, obviously, so nobody else has any questions. Alright, Captain, we're going to give you the opportunity to sit down. I'm sure somebody's going to have a question for you sometime soon. So we'll ask you to answer those questions. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is item number 8 now. That is the Malvern CPF chairperson, Mr. Kevin Pillay. Should I ask?
Thank you, our program director. We had a challenge with the sound. I think we fixed it now that I'm speaking. I'm going to start by firstly thanking my brother, Pastor Clarence. Thank you, sir, for the use of your wonderful home here. We had a challenge trying to put this meeting together, and Pastor's name came up and he obliged us. Thank you, sir, to your congregation, your members. We appreciate it. Let me start by greeting Colonel Enke, Captain Governor, Metro Captain, Metro Fire Captain, SAPS members, security members, EXCO members, our esteemed residents for attending, and also everybody that's watching online. I've been informed just now that we have almost 200 people watching from the safety of their homes. When we put this meeting notice out, that was one of the requests we got from a lot of people, and we duly obliged. And I want to say thank you to Zach and your team. He literally got a call from me late last night, and the only thing he said was yes. So I think we need to give the pastor, Zach, and all our esteemed guests a big round of applause. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say my name is not Captain Governor. My name is Kevin Pillay, and I'm saying that because I'm sure when you heard him speak, he had to think before he spoke. Right? Remember, we're going online, we've got everyone here, we've got cell phones, we don't want to say the wrong thing. And Captain, I appreciate the detail that you put out. We've had, I think we lost count how many meetings we've had. I represent the CPF when we have meetings, and we've had many meetings discussing the 30th, which we'll go through just now. But I'm very appreciative that he's given you as much as he could. But there's some things I can say because I don't have gold stars on my shoulder. So we'll get to that. Okay, want to say all protocols observed. And again, thank you for everybody for supporting this meeting. It's very important to attend this public meeting. So I hope there's a thread every month, so we can see you all here, and you will know what's happening in your community. So I'm going to take this opportunity now. I'm going to be selfish, and I'm going to talk to you about the CPF. I'm going to talk to you about what we do, because there's 99% new faces here, and I want to introduce you to two people. I'm not going to mention their names, but I don't know if they're going to stand up for me. The lady and gentleman sitting in the second row here. If you can oblige us and just stand up, I'll tell you why. Right? They live in Moseley. Okay, yes. If I tell you, sir and ma'am, have attended every single CPF public meeting bar one. Right. And you can see how young he is. So that will tell you something about the rest of you. Okay? Yes. Thank you, sir. You may take your seat. Now, this is the kind of commitment we need, because remember, the captain said something. You need to join the CPF. I have a saying. If you wanted to join, you'll be a CPF member already. It's a fact. That doesn't mean to say you don't have to join. But the CPF operates for you all. We have these meetings. We are not obligated to have a meeting every month. Our constitution would say, and the captain will agree, that I'm only supposed to call you here once a month, once every 4 months. And I don't even have to do that. I can communicate to you in writing. But I take the initiative as the chairperson of the CPF to hold these meetings every month so I can brief you on what's happened in the previous month. You need to take that opportunity and attend. So, Captain, maybe, like I said, we'll speak to March and have trains every month, fill all the holes going forward. But I'm appreciative of you here, because I think the Captain has alluded to the fact that how serious this is. But I'm going to get to that. So the CPF members, we have 150 active patrollers. We don't have people that don't patrol, because if they don't patrol, they become you, residents, so to speak. And what we do is simple. We are the eyes and ears for the police. We look, listen, report, and then we get the backup from the SAPs and the security members. Our members, or the Malvern CPF, is the only CPF that has complied with every single requirement put to us by the SAPs, the provincial board, and the national board. I had to attend the district meeting today at 6 o'clock. I declined it because you are more important than the other 41 stations in my district. So, it is what it is. We're here because we care. And I need, like the captain said, we're talking or we're preaching to the converted. You're here because you do care. And public meetings is very important. And people sitting here today are parents, right? And I'm sure you had kids in school, and you probably made the same mistake where you never attended your SGB meetings. So it's one and the same. These things are important to understand what's going on. But crime in Malvern is, and I don't want to jinx this now, Captain, but crime in Malvern is being handled at a level that even the captain is being asked, how are we achieving? He's being asked at district, how are we achieving the levels of crime? And there's no false reporting in Malvern because there's a person called Kevin Pillay that checks with the captain. And I must say that we've now gotten to a point that we've had some challenges where residents went historically and there was things that were not, now everything gets reported. Our crime reported is accurate to a point where if we say we had 31 copper pipes, it was probably 31 and the people that didn't report their copper pipes being stolen. But when you get, our main objective as a CPF, together with the captain, is to stem the serious crime, which is a trio crimes. Okay? One of our biggest problems with crime at the moment, besides the copper pipes, Captain, you know, it happened today again, is the theft of motor vehicles. So, I don't know how many of you sitting here that own Corolla Cross. If you have one, sell it. It is the, I don't know what it is. I don't know why, we know why they take it, but it literally is a problem for us. And I drive around with my team in the early hours of the morning, and we count the crosses in parked in the yards, and some of them are not even in garages. And if you have the hybrid, I promise you, you should look at buying another car. So, from a crime point of view, we try our hardest to make things work for you as the residents. We have an operation that's running now for the last 9 weeks, called Operation Night Watch. We have 5 teams, multiple vehicles, and you would notice that when I send my reports out, for those of you that read it, we're not very specific on times. Sometimes we'll put times because we've learned from the past. When I put times, our crimes occur before and after. And we've seen it. You remember the last time when we did it in Feb, Captain? So this time around, it's working very well. And as the captain said, we've had some great successes. And I want to say this. In 9 weeks, between midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning, we've had one reported crime during that time. In 9 weeks. So those gentlemen that go out, sorry, I'm going to be getting strange eyes here. Gentlemen and ladies that go out in the early morning, they are serving you like true champions. And we are making such a big difference in the early morning. Remember, we're in winter now, so that's why we started it. So we've got a long way to go. It's very, very difficult. Let me tell you something. Besides getting up, getting ready, leaving early in the morning, I promise you it is like we get off our vehicles and it's like we're in the Himalayas. That's how cold it is. And for the Nirvana Hills people that's living here, I do not know how you live there. Because if it's 16 degrees here, I promise you it's 11 degrees in Wiltshire and Brookdale. But I am very proud of the team that is working in the early mornings. I am very proud of my team that works early evenings. I'm very proud of my team that works during the day. If you are on our active group that we have, the SAPs, the Metro, the CPF, the security companies, you will know what a machine Malvern CPF is. Yes, I'm sounding conceited and I'm praising my team because I am proud of them. I am proud of what they achieve, and the stats don't lie. And I think that's what's most important. So you need to give my members also a hearty round of applause. Usually when I take the podium, the program director gives me a time limit. He didn't do that today, so I'm going to take advantage of it. And I'm going to talk, like I said, I spoke about the crime, but now that I have you here, and I said I'm going to be selfish. Next month, we start our fundraising for our festive season operation. Now that's in 6 months. So you're going to tell me, oh, why are we talking about it now? So if you don't know about the festive operation, you probably don't live in Malvern. But the festive season operation starts generally around the 11th or 12th of December and carries on for 30 to 31 days into December, January, my apologies. And we deploy about 15 to 20 ambassadors. And the reason why we call them ambassadors is because they work, they're not CPF members, and they're not security officers. And you wouldn't believe this, when we wanted to deploy them 2 years ago, CIRA wanted to charge me because I'm supposedly running an illegal security business. But anyway, we sorted that problem out. So now they call ambassadors. So where are we now? Our CBD starts here, literally here, and goes all the way to BP Naughty. Okay? So when we say CBD, we mean everything from here to there. And don't fall off your chairs when I tell you, in that corridor, there's 225 businesses. And we're not guessing. This team here did the work, the legwork. But last year, the last 2 years, in that month, we had 0 crime. From 7 in the morning till 7 in the evening. So we protect the CBD for you, the shopper, because that's your highest spending time. You want to go to the mall, you want to go to Pick and Pay, or whatever you want to do. Malvern was the safest place in Ichipenny during the festive time for 2 years running. So now we're going to do 3rd year. We hope the message goes to the businesses, but we won't hold our breaths. But I need you. Last year I had to raise, I think, where's our treasurer? Our previous treasurer. That's 100,000, Lauren.
Yeah.
We paid them $350 a shift, and you can do the maths. There's a lot, and we provide lunch. So it cost us just under 100,000 last year, and I need that this year. So I'm going to start that festive operation fundraising effort in July. So when you see me post this on your group, please don't remove me. Because I was just telling somebody, I got removed from a group because we shared this meeting notice 3 times and they removed me. But it's their loss because I don't mind being on, I don't know how many groups I'm in, but I love it because I'm out all the time. And when I'm not, I take the message and send it to them, and whoever's out responds. So they bring themselves a disservice, but I guess all to your own. But ladies and gentlemen, please help us, help yourself. We want Malvern to be safe again this festive time. And I know we're 6 months away, but for me, I wish I could have started this in January, but I need that support, and I need that support for you. Lastly, before I end, and we go on to the next item there, Mr. Program Director, which is number 9, I just want to say that there's no such thing. All of you are on your CPF WhatsApp groups, right? And when you notice something, when you see something, put it on the group. Because my job as the chairperson, one of my functions is called creating the CPA, Crime Prevention Analysis. Malvern, we are proactive, we are not reactive. We try to predict, straight up, I promise you, we try to predict what's going to happen. And it worked at times, because when we get a message on the Mosley group, Brown Triber noticed. For most of you, it's just a post. For me now, it's a trigger when I get the second one. So now the tribe, the same car is noticed, say, Norfolk, or where we are now, Poets. So now that's telling me something. So we've got multiple cameras all around Malvern through the various security providers, and we do a check to see now, with this range, where this car has been. So then we get a little bit proactive and we start waiting and looking. So these little messages and that are posted in the group helps us. And I'll tell you now, the precinct that's so good with this is Mosley. Mosley, they've got 2 emergency groups, and if they see something, they say something. You see, I'm not saying now if you see a dog running down the road, or just, you understand what I'm saying. It is important that little things matter. And in Malvern CPF, we've always followed the broken windows theory. You fix the small things, it'll fix the big things. So we keep it simple, but we're also very strict about everything. So use the tools that you have. There's some new technology that we will be launching in the coming, I wouldn't say days or months, because I don't know when, but we're taking this whole CPF to another level in terms of, for you, the resident, in terms of technology. We're going to build an app. It's going to be one of its kind, and you will enjoy it, because you'll tell the app to tell you, because if you don't want to know what's happening in Mosley because someone saw a dog running, you tell it. But that's coming, but give us some time, because obviously you're going to pay for it by doing some donations. No, I'm joking. But yeah, from my side, before I end on my slot, I want to say, you know, I made a note here. We got 200 people watching online, and before I even get here, my phone lit up with residents telling me, Mr. Pillay, Kevin, chairperson, we want to thank you and your team. We can't make it. Thank them all the best. That's what we need. And Malvern's, when I say Malvern now, you'll understand, I'm not only talking about Malvern, Malvern, Norteen, Nirvana Hills, North Park, Eston. That's the precinct. We are one of the closest knit communities you'll ever find. And I say that because I serve on Malvern CPF, I serve on the district CPF, and I serve on the provincial CPF. And I see when I attend this meeting, the bond that we have here is second to none. So thank you. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for attending today. And I want to say the next few days is going to be a bit stressful, but we got your back. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairperson, I don't think you're going to go anywhere, because we're going to open up now that kind of discussion so that if anybody has any questions to ask our chairperson, please raise your hand and he will answer those questions to the best of his ability.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we do that, like I said earlier, the captain was a little bit restricted for obvious reasons, in terms of the 29th and 30th. But I think I'm going to put it in words that we all probably don't want to hear. Tuesday is going to be a real problem. There's no doubt about it. The difference is the level of problem we're going to have, right? The lady in the back spoke about disruption. That is the nature of what's going to happen. There will be massive disruption. So if you put it into perspective, for the last 2 months, March and March has been staging small marches all over the country, right? Now if you look at certain areas, they had big marches. Now you quantify that and have all those marches on one day. This country is going to stop on Tuesday. And that is a fact. We are not saying that there's going to be violence or looting. We're not saying that. But we're also not saying that it won't happen. So we need to be on our toes. And Tuesday becomes the reality of the last 2 months. If and when, or rather when, the South African Police Service activates all their members to be on duty, you know they're taking this seriously. It's not like when we had a few in-between threats. No. So we need to understand that your safety, and you need to understand, that your safety comes first. I've got, I don't know how many calls in the last few days. Should I go to work? Should I open my business? Should is no more used. Now we have to say we have to do. Do not open your business. Schools are closed, thank God, Captain. And you have to look out for yourself. You're all family people. Don't take a chance and go on the road. You may get to Umhlanga Rocks or Durban North or wherever in the morning. May. But you may not come back if the roads are blocked. So like the captain said, they know, the South African Police Service know what the strategy is going to be used, and we know that our freeways are going to be compromised. You don't want to be on a freeway and then you're in between there by, what's this, Westwood Mall, and then there's nowhere for you to go. So let's think, right? If you're business owners, close your business. If you're employees at a business, you need to tell your bosses. It is something that we hope that we are all wrong. Like the captain said. In all our preparations, our talks, our meetings, we are hoping we are 100% wrong. But if you watch the media and you watch March on March's media briefing today, they've upped the ante in terms of the rhetoric. The narrative has changed. And that's a real concern. So remember, the captain has said, I'm going to speak out of turn now, again. The captain has said he's bringing all his members on duty. They can get redeployed, like in the looting. Am I right, Captain? If they storm, what's the mall? Southway Mall, they're all going to get called down there. It's left to us. And that's what happened during the riots. Our crime prevention, our SAPS members were all redeployed to Southway Mall because it was under attack. And we had we were left with what we were left here and the yellow jackets. So take it from me when I say to you, Tuesday is not going to be a nice day. We need to realize that we don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen. But now for me to reassure you, okay? This team, together with the captain, we've been meeting multiple times over the last month and a half. We've been preparing. We've got a job set up that will be operational. We've actually ran a simulation exercise a few weeks ago. You all were sleeping. You didn't know that existed. It ran from 11 p.m. till 8 a.m. Okay? And we had to test our own theories in terms of, I had to write a 15-page Captain, thank you very much. Operational plan. Now they put me under pressure. We can't just do what we want. I mean, we had to write an operational plan and we had to test our own theory. So we know where we are, we know where we stand, we know what we're going to do. But I need your support on a few things. Firstly, one of those things we did, or the people we engaged with in the last month and a half, is with our members or residents from the informal settlements in and around Malvern. So the intelligence we're getting is real. The intelligence that we know what's going to happen. There's a march on Saturday as well. But we've told them, if they're going to go get out of it, I didn't tell them, the captain told them in my presence, if you get out of hand, then the law takes over. But just like we did during the riots, which you all don't know, we went down to our informal settlement. We used the gentleman standing there, his bus. We loaded the guys, we brought them to the back of the station. We had discussions with them. They went back to the settlement and they calmed their members down. That's why nothing happened yet. That's why we never had an issue in Wellington. We never had an issue from Huntley. We never had an issue from the M7 and 2 small informals in Mosley. It's because we do all of this in the background. This time around, the threat is different. The threat is within. The riots, we were trying to protect the area for people to coming in. They're all in our area now. So those discussions have already taken place, and I can tell you we're ready. Our members know what to do. They know when they're going to get on duty, and if trouble comes, they're going to meet us, Metro Police, the captain and his members. But just 2 things before I go. Please, residents, don't view us as the enemy. The Malvern CPF members often get sworn at, shouted at by the residents. I don't know why. These people, ladies and gentlemen, these jackets, they sacrifice their time, they leave their families, and to be disrespected by you, the resident, not you now, whoever's been doing it, I take exception to that. And support them by supporting them, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying come and join and use the jacket. Just support them in what they do. Don't be strange and funny and send all these strange remarks. And lastly, as we enter our weekend, you will see messages floating on social media. Don't believe in the propaganda. If you get a message, do not share it. I will make sure the captain contacts you and will charge you. That is the biggest tool these people have. If you fall for it, you're going to have a problem. So do not share anything. If you receive something, don't post it and say, can someone verify this? If it's legit, there'll always be an author to the message. If you watch the messages floating around, it's a whole long story, but no one knows who wrote it. It's propaganda. Don't fall for it. And I can tell you now, like I said, I'm on many groups, and some of them made me admins. I will not hesitate to remove you because I won't have time for that. Our priority is to make sure you're safe. Last night, the propaganda machine started in Shellpros, Captain. And I could see straight away that the messages were fake. So let's believe in ourselves that we have the intelligence to understand that people are using us for their own personal gain. And that is to destabilize the country, and we'll never allow that to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end, but I'm going to say this. If there's any issues, you can call me directly. Message me, call me. If you don't get a hold of the station, you call me, and I'll take your call, or I'll call you back, and we will send the necessary resources to you to ensure that you and your family are safe. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you for that, Chair. So, I'm going to say again, ladies and gentlemen, any questions for Mr. Pillay? Okay, we've got 2, so I'm going to come to you now.
what is the protocol for the foreigners that are living in our community? I mean, we all know them, we go to their shops, some of them are our friends. What do they do when they feel under threat and if they are legal in our community? Thank you.
All right. Okay, valid question. Thank you. Listen, the law is very clear. All these organizations, March and March, who's allowed to stop and search people? The police, Metro Police, any law enforcement agency that has the power to stop, search and arrest within the Constitution. Who's allowed to ask you whether you have a permit? It's the police, immigrations, Home Affairs. Who's allowed to check whether you have foreign workers? Department of Labor. So any of those people that belong to March and March, do they fit any of those, or do they wear any of those caps? No. So, as much as the sentiment is anti-foreign, no citizen has the right to question those people. No citizen has the right to chase them. But what they can do is they can bring their concerns to us, or to the government for that matter, and they will deal with it. So, all they need to do is get to safety if that is the case. That's why the ideal would be for them not to operate in the interest of their own safety. And if they feel threatened or that unsafe, then they must either come to the police station, contact the police, and we will provide the necessary assistance to them. Whether or not they have permits, they are legal or not legal, they are here and they're human beings. So they have the same rights as everybody else. Does not mean that now people must go to their shops but it's happening. You're seeing it happening around them. You're seeing it happening around the country actually. And I want to point out something as to why, and business owners are going to say, but police do nothing. And when you watch videos, it seems as if we do nothing. But do you know why? The law doesn't permit us to step on a private property and tell people what to do. Unless there's a crime that takes place there. That dispute about labor, the police has no authority. So that is why, if you've got a business and you employ foreigners, whether legal, or they should be legal, right? I won't say legal or not legal, but anyway. When you go to court, the court has to, when a court issues an order, it must explicitly give the police the authority to act on private property. So that is why you find that the police, they're there, but there's not much they can do unless an assault takes place or a crime that is in their presence. Then a police officer got no other obligation than to arrest. So that is the reason why people might think that the police stand in the backgrounds and they don't do anything. Because when we go to court, we won't have any leg to stand on. So that is why we encourage the community. When you go and get your court order against people coming to your business and doing all of these things that they're not supposed to, the order needs to give us the authority, that you give us permission, but not just that you give me permission, in the form of a court order. It must state explicitly that you give the police permission to act on your private property. I'm not sure I've answered your question.
Right, so the response was the question has been answered. So, Chair, that's 1,500 views and currently 200 people actively viewing. So, state your name.
Just a simple little question. I mean, I've lived in the area for a long time, and you always hear Malvern CPF. How big an area does Malvern CPF cover? Do they cover the Belair area?
No,
question. Okay, so Malvern CPF is called Malvern CPF because the naming convention falls under the station that we belong to. But that doesn't mean to say we only do Malvern, as in the Malvern precinct. So Malvern CPF policing precinct starts where Curry owes it, the new one, all the way down to Wiltshire and Brookdale, about 100 meters up towards Hanstetman. And then when we come down this way, Mountbatten Drive, it ends there. That's our precinct end. And then on Stella Road, we end by the Shell Garage. And Tom's Hardware on Carrick. And then Burlington Drive, when you go down, as you pass Turquoise, there's a railway bridge. That's where it ends there. And then on Eskom side, the Pompey Bridge. Now, that's the policing precinct general. Now, Bel-Air has their own CPF, bigger area than ours. If you live there, sir, we can put you in touch with them.
We come from North P.
Oh, then you're in good hands, don't worry. So when we say Malvern CPF, sometimes it creates a confusion in our residents, which I've been telling the PRO and the team that we need to educate our residents, and I'm not being disrespectful that, because I don't blame them, they just think it's Malvern, but there's Eskom, Nottingham, North Park and Nirvana Hills, but all of that is covered. But I'll tell you what's unique about, if the program director allows me. You see, CPFs operate via a constitution, and in that constitution it talks about the CPF executive, sub-forums, neighborhood watches and all that. In Malvern, we don't have anything. We just have the CPF. There's no sub-forums, there's no neighborhood watches. Everybody that's actively involved works directly under the leadership of the executive. So it gives the patroller, that's generally the worker, at the coalface, a voice at the table, so to speak. And it's worked for us for the last 4 years. It's unique to anyone in the province. There's 184 police stations, which means there's 184 CPFs, and we are the only one that operates on that structure. And these jackets that we wear, we follow a policy framework called Community in Blue. That's why it doesn't say Malvern in it. So this is a prescribed jacket that we wear. So yeah, to answer, I hope I've answered your question, but I'm glad you live in Malvern.
Right, so I couldn't ask for that to be deleted from the record, but anyway, we'll carry on. Any other questions for Mr. Play? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move ahead. And the next item on our agenda, item number 11 now, is a report from Metro Police. As I did say earlier, we did receive an apology from Colonel Globo, and we have Captain Subramani that's going to be representing Metro Police. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Program Director. I don't have a time on this checking. This starts really with greetings. I'd like to greet my fellow colleagues from SAPS, Captain Governor, CPF Chairman, the Executive Committee, Captain Rajan from Fire Department, the rest of the CPF members and community members. I just have a brief breakdown of operations conducted in the last month from Metro Police in the area. I'll just go over this brief report, and then I'll take some questions from the community, if that's okay, Program Director. We have been covering a lot of vehicle checkpoints where we're doing stop and searches, charging people for numerous traffic offences. We've also been doing operations with the Fire Department, Health Department, ABM, where we go to shops. We check for licenses, shop licenses, making sure that they have the required fire extinguishers and stuff in the store. We did the Malvern area. We did close some shops down. I don't know, I think it was last month we closed down, not last month, I think about 2 months back we did Swadesh, and they didn't comply with the regulations, we closed them down. And then one guy stopped me at the road and said, "Hey, Captain, why did you close on Swadesh?" He said, "Where am I going to get my bunny chow from now?" So I just want to inform you that we are doing this for the safety of the community. They need to comply with health regulations because we are eating these foods, and they need to be in a safe environment. So we also have a vehicle that's static on the M7 that's 24 hours. The M7 is a big problem. We have numerous accidents in the M7. It's bad. We do have a task team that's in place, I believe. I think the chairman, Captain Governor, is also on it. So we do have a vehicle that's static on the M7, 24 hours. If you don't see them there, it's maybe because of logistic issues. When the next shift comes, sometimes we have issues with vehicles that don't have a blue light. So they might have to take their vehicle back and bring another one with a blue light. So we also do warrants. We check the community. We stop vehicles, checking for outstanding warrants. Illegal immigrants. We have made arrests at Carrick Road. The people that loiter at the corner there. Also at Saxon Road, made also illegal foreigner arrest. Roadblocks. Roadblocks, I know there haven't been a roadblock in our area for quite some time now. Colonel Glover has put in requests to get it done in this area, in Malvern. We do arrest drunken drivers though. They're just on our normal patrols. And crime-related scenes, we do work close with Captain Governor and his team, also with the CPF. We do a lot of stop and searches, searching the vehicles. Just the last point on June 30th. Okay, we do have plans in place for June 30th. We have received memos from our executive management that no member should be taking leave. So no member will be able to take leave from the 26th onwards till the 2nd. We do have public order policing. Metropolis does have public order policing. So they will be working in hand with SAP's public order policing and SAPS Malvern. I think that's about it for the brief report. Just before we can take any questions if you have, I just want to thank Malvern CPF for assisting us. We also have restraints with manpower. There's been numerous occasions where we didn't have enough members, and I've seen it for myself. I'm actually an operational captain, so I'm not in the office. I don't work in the office. I work on the road. So I start my duty tonight at 6 o'clock. I'll be finishing tomorrow morning at 6. So I've seen it firsthand. Malvern CPF is one of the best CPF I have seen. And a lot of times when we need members to block off road, we don't have enough vehicles. I phone chairman. Within minutes they're there. They're there the whole night, sometimes 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how they do it because some of them going to work. Last week we had an incident. There was a pipe that was burst on Main Road near Anderson, and we standing off blocking the road for the people to work, water department and electricity department. And there was one guy from CPF. I don't see him yet tonight. Maybe he's outside somewhere. And he was there till 2 o'clock in the morning. And then he comes up to me and says, I'm going to leave now because I'm going to work at 4. And he said, I'm up from 4 this morning. So I don't know how your guys do it. I just want to thank you all so much. You truly are the heartbeat of this community. And I must say, we give them a round of applause. And I've seen it firsthand. So whatever the chairman was saying, he wasn't just trying to bluff you all. I can vouch for him, I've seen it myself. And I just want to thank you for all your help, sir. And thank Captain Governor also. If you need anything from Metro side, if you need manpower, you give Captain a call. He's always willing to assist. And yeah, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take any questions if you have.
Thank you, Captain. Any questions for Captain? There we go. So for the record, please state your name, sir.
I'm Councillor J. Singh. Firstly, I'd like to thank Metro for putting that vehicle out there for 24 hours. What I'd like to know is, do you have any statistics in terms of how it's reduced accidents on the M7?
Thank you, Councillor. I don't have an exact number, but the accidents have reduced a lot. So from the time, as I say, I walk on the road, and from the time we put a vehicle there, I've never attended an accident as yet. So it's in place about maybe a month now, I think. About a month, yes. So I haven't attended, for myself I'm talking about now, not the other shifts, because I do work shifts 2 days, 2 nights, and I get 4 days off. So I haven't attended not one accident, but there will be a number that's available. You can come to our offices. We can provide you with that, with the actual stats. But you see, that vehicle is placed on just before the truck stop there. So most of the accidents are happening because vehicles are not stopping at that stop. So those heavy motor vehicles, as they try traveling down the road, because they never change the gear to a lower gear, when they're going downhill, they cannot stop that vehicle. So now that previously what we have been doing, we have been charging vehicles where we had a vehicle parked at the truck stop or just after the truck stop, and then once we see them disregarding that truck stop, we will chase them down the M7, and where it's safe at the bottom of the M7, we pull them over, we issue a fine. So we issued numerous fines for that day, but it seems that it wasn't working out. Although we were issuing all those fines, when we had other duties and when members were not there to enforce that, we were seeing accidents. So that's where we came up with a plan of putting a vehicle there. So when vehicles travel and see that there's a police vehicle, automatically they're slowing down, they're stopping. So from the time for a month now, I haven't been to an accident regarding the stop sign accident. Before that, I think there have been accidents before the stop sign. So yeah, just to answer your question, if you want the stats, actual stats, we can provide that for you. I'll take your number after this and we'll talk. Thank you.
Right, any further questions? All right, I'm going to ask for the assistants to pass the mic over here.
Good evening, Captain. My name is Richard Keats from Malvern. Just an inquiry on Metro's input from the non-compliance on moving violations in terms of traffic lights, stop streets, barrier lines. You know, we see it's becoming a norm to proceed through red traffic lights and overtake on a barrier line, and in front of many occasions in front of law enforcement officers, which nothing has done. Could we perhaps have some comment on that?
Thank you, Richard, for the question. I don't know what was the circumstances that you have seen police officers putting a blind eye to that, but if we see a moving violation, we have to attend it. So we do, let's say if you got a specific spot that you've been seeing people causing these transgressions over and over again. Let's say it's happening at Ridley Park, somewhere in Ridley Park. So you can come to our offices. There's a routine form that you'll fill out there. You'll put your complaint down. You'll fill an affidavit stating that at Ridley Park, people, community members are overtaking on a barrier line. So what we'll do as management, we'll cascade it down to our members. Every day at a certain time, if you give us a time that it's happening at 7 o'clock in the morning. So every day, 7 o'clock in the morning, we'll send a van out there. If people are doing it, we will issue fines. So if you're experiencing something like that, then you can come to offices, fill in the form, we'll see to it. But as for police officers putting a blind eye to that, I don't know what the circumstances. Maybe they were doing other duties. Maybe they couldn't move from the spot because sometimes, like for the M7 incident, that vehicle is static on the M7. So if something else, we already got strict instructions. If something else happens on the M7, though that vehicle cannot move from there. So if there's an accident on M7, another vehicle has to be called out. So sometimes you might see there's an accident on M7 and they'll say, there's a police right there, but they're not seeing it. But the thing is, we got instructions from executive management, not even our management at our level, executive management, that no one must, that person who is at M7 cannot leave there for no circumstances. So it may seem that you see police are right there, but they're not doing anything. But we work on instruction. So we have to, if you don't comply with the instruction, the member can get disciplined. So if you have something that's a spot that you're talking about that somebody is causing nonsense on the road, you can come to us, we'll see to it. I don't know if that answers.
Right, thank you for that, Captain. Any further questions? We've got a question at the back of the room there. I think I'm taking the last question, Chair.
Thank you. My name is Mr. Pillay. Is there any operation with regards to an increase in number of trucks that are moving into central CBD? Because this afternoon there was a huge truck and I counted there had about 25 huge truck tires on it, and that seemed to have caused a major traffic jam on the main road starting right from Malvern Bridge going up. That's one. And we've noticed that there's been a definite increase in the number of trucks that are using these shortcuts, and I don't think so our roads can handle that particular load of traffic. And you'll notice that most of our roads now are getting damaged because these trucks are using that. So I'm just concerned about the CBD being having a huge influx of trucks.
Thank you, Mr. Pillay. Regarding any operations with trucks, so if we have an operation, we deal with all vehicles. If there's an operation at the bus stop in Main Road, so we won't just target trucks, we'll deal with all motor vehicles. So if you see a truck, we'll deal with it. But I believe there's what's the industrial park down in Burlington? Queensmead Industrial. So we have a Queensmead Industrial in our area. So I think that's where all the trucks are going. But what we can do is you see, the thing is with trucks, there is restrictions on different types and different weights. So there has to be signage on the route that they're using for them to be aware of what can go and what not can go. So we'll have to, if you are talking about a specific route, let's say from Malvern to Queensmead, we'll have to get ETA, the Transport Authority, Ejikweli Transport Authority, to come and look at that route, place boards and restriction boards for weight categories of trucks, who can use it, who cannot use it. So once that boards are in place, we can then enforce. Because now if you stop a truck and tell him you're not allowed to use this route, he's going to say, how do I know? There's nothing preventing me, there's no signs. And also we cannot enforce that if there's not a sign there. But we'll do look into it. We'll speak to ETA, because the M7 project, we work with ETA closely. So I have a guy's number there, Senzo, and I'll speak to him. Maybe we can try and see if we can get some boards placed up, and then we can do the enforcement on trucks specifically. I don't know if it answers your question.
Right, so thank you for that, Captain. And once again, we appreciate that vehicle being on the M7. I'm fortunate enough to live right next to where that vehicle is, so I hear him all through the night. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our next presenter, and that is Station Commander Arunachalam from Metro Fire.
Good evening to the chairperson, executive members, CPF members of the Malvern Community Policing Forum. It's a great pleasure to inform you today about the Chikwani Fire Department. We're currently busy this season, as you all know, we're approaching winter season. I humbly plead to your members to enlighten the community, to clear vacant land like close to your property, about 1 or 2 meters, to do a fire break. So in case we have harsh winds, it doesn't affect your property. Rather than having bush right against your property, like the Valley View area, maybe close to Huntley, down in the bottom. And maybe you can just pass the message on during the season, and also not to start fires. That's not a good thing for us. We do not have much resources. We have only one rescue pumper, which services the whole of the Queensborough area, right down to Stella, Bel Air Police Station, and we go further to the Kwandingezi area. We move towards Link Road. We also back Chatsworth. Just to give you all some info about what our response times are, it's as soon as we get a call, we have 1 minute to leave the fire station. Unfortunately, if we are committed to another incident, we'll have additional rescue pumper coming from the Marion Reach area, Pinetown, to assist with the calls. But due to this season that we're going to have, we have a backup plan that they're getting additional bucky pumps. So we wouldn't be seeing fire engine, we're seeing bucky pumps coming in with small hose reels trying to assist. We try to do our best to render a good service to the Malvern area and other areas that we respond to. And the last season we noticed that we have vagrants, people collecting scrap metals in the vacant land. Due to the grass being dry, the easier way for them to get those metal items is to set those things alight. And we work close to the CPF, Metro Police, where they informed us on a Valley View area, there's a CPF member, I don't know, see him here, but I know his car, because he's got a maroon vehicle parked at the top, a shop. It's called That Cafe. That man there, I see him every day without fail, he's there. So he's, you know what, he's doing a 110% job. You know what, thank you. Not only to him and maybe to other guys that which I don't see there, but you are doing a great job. And just from the fire department, as Captain Subramani from the Metro Police stated, that the CPF helps us a lot at the incident, directing traffic, assisting us where we need to cordon off the area, barrier taping, getting members of the public not too close to us where we're doing an extrication and all that stuff, because people tend to video us when we are doing those things, and it's not a good thing, and it's not lawful to do that. Okay, so further moving down to if you all do see this activity taking place, you all can kindly contact us on 031 361 0000. We have other people that are phoning 10111 and there's a delay with our time because it has to come via 1111 and then come to us. So it's a bit of a time delay for us to come out to incident. For the 29th and the 30th, we have a plan in action. We'll be closely working with the Metro Police, dealing with the M7 because of the truckers. Captain Subramani enlightened you all about a vehicle that is parked here at the Malvern bridge or that truck stop. From the time that vehicle has been put there, we are not responding to any truck fires. Initially, it starts from the tires, binding, the brakes, and all these things spreads, and that's how we have those things. So I think for that, this whole month that went past, I worked on B platoon. I had only one, so that's a good thing, because the truck drivers, when they went on the M7, they are speeding. They are not stopping, so and they can't stop their vehicle due to not being on a low gear. So the Etiquette Fire Department will strive to do its best to save the property, the environment, and the members of the public. We just got one issue as a fire department. I don't know maybe whether this is the right platform to address it. When we come out of Rycroft onto Main Road, where the T-junction is, I don't know whether you're familiar with the area. At the corner of Civic Center, once you pass St. Augustine, then it's next is Rycroft. When we're coming with our sirens and the emergency lights, it's difficult. Motorists don't want to give us way. We're trying to put an emergency robot, traffic lights, that once it senses emergency vehicle, I think the type of vehicles that we have got, maybe will assist with Metro Police. Even if they have their sirens and the lights, they're not stopping to give you away. And then we have a problem if their house is burning, why you took so long to come. But they don't realize it's difficult out there. Councillor, you know what I'm talking about. So I think that's basically sums it all from the fire department. Thank you to the CPF. Very good job, well done. You can give yourselves an applause for the work that you're doing with us. Thank you.
All right, so let's take the opportunity for some questions. And the hands are flying up.
Hello, sorry, my name is Richard Maestri. I just wanted to find out, maybe this question won't be directed to you necessarily. I live in Eskom, near that old abandoned so-called Pick and Pay building. There is people that live there from time to time and they light fires, and if that old bush catch on fire, you have a massive problem. Is there anything done about that? And maybe that could be directed to somebody else. And then the second issue that I have is that the copper cables or copper pipes that are being stolen are being sold somewhere. Are we investigating who's buying that and putting a stop to it? That maybe to the police?
Right, two-fold question here, one for you.
Okay, dealing with an abandoned building, the Pick and Pay. We're working close with fire safety and Metro Police, where we're going to get hold of these owners to do a maintenance cleanup. And also vacant lands, we inform the councillor of the area or the vacant lands that are not being maintained. So what they do is council gets their own contractors. They come, they clean up, cut the grass, and they bill you on your lights and water and your rates. So that's how they're going forward. Councillor, am I correct about that? Because that's what we have done in the Valley View area, where vacant land belong to a certain individual. We engage with the councillors, and they have done that there. But they will come out for the first 2 or 3 months, and then after that they don't come. So we need to be constantly on that. But we can work on that there. You give me your details after this meeting. I'll engage with fire safety to get in contact and do a further investigation on that property, because there is a fire threat on that. Thank you. Hopefully that answers your question.
Right, before I hand over to either the chairperson or Captain Governor to answer, we have a vehicle that's causing obstruction. It's an Isuzu. Your registration BP09KFZN. If that is your vehicle, we ask that you please move that vehicle so that that resident can leave. Gentlemen, who's answering the question?
I told you guys I'm Kevin Pillay. Thank you. All right, thank you for the question. We do what we call compliance inspections when it comes to the Second-Hand Goods Act, especially our scrap dealers and recyclers. That's done weekly. Due to the fact that we've got a high number of infrastructure theft cases, we are constantly checking them. But remember, the regulation also doesn't give us too much to work with. So all that the scrap dealer needs is a copy of an ID and an address, and they buy. They do not need to ask where it comes from. So when we go to do inspections, as long as they produce those copies, the transaction, and the register is up to date, I've got no way of knowing where that comes from. So that becomes the challenge. So they need to then now change the regulations, and that is obviously government. They need to amend those regulations so that becomes more enforceable, rather than we are merely just going there and checking and saying, okay, they're compliant. But that is what the compliance is asking us to do. We are not experts. We never get trained on whether the particular copper belongs to Transnet, Trasa. So we've got to call those people. But we can't always get them to come out when we're doing these enforcements. Sometimes it's difficult to get them. In most cases, we only get them to come and assist us is when we do recoveries. And they'll come in their own time, and then they'll come and tell us whether it belongs to their particular, whether it's Telkom, whether it's Trasa, whoever's municipality. So that's the challenge. Yes, but we are doing constant compliance. And there are some dealers that we've identified. You're 100% right. If we address the people that are buying it, it will reduce the cases and the thefts. So we are working on it, and I'm not the chairperson, so I won't divulge more. Thank you.
All right, so he's not the chairperson, he won't divulge more, but I think I can, right? Right, so we have identified a few illegal scrap dealers. Sorry, I didn't see that hand. There's a juicer. All right, so we have identified a few illegal scrap dealers. That information has been passed on to the relevant people. So hopefully that gets sorted out soon. Sir, for the record, your name?
Evening, everybody. Andres. Sir, you just mentioned the police don't have authority, or they can't prove where copper wire or copper pipes coming from. But according to the law, I as a seller need to provide what you call it. Ek moet bewyse lewer van koperdraad of koperpype wat ek aan die skrapyard gaan verkoop. So as ek nie daai bewyse het nie, kan daai skrapyard nie daai koperpype of koperdraad by my koop nie. Unfortunately, this is an Afrikaans, so somebody needs to translate this for me, please.
Alright, so basic translation I'm going to try. And yes, I am Indian. So, without the ID document, basic terms, you cannot sell to a scrapyard, correct, sir?
Yes, without a letter of confirmation where that copper pipe or copper wire is coming from.
Okay. So a construction site or.
Yes.
Yes.
Or from an electrician
All right.
company or.
And then also you are required to provide your ID.
Yes.
Okay. So, Captain, we're going to give you the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Please enlighten me. Where in the law is that? Does it state that? Which part of the act? I get you. I get you. No, you got a valid point. You got a valid point. But let me tell you something now. How many of those business people comply with what you just asked for, or what you just stated?
In Gauteng, 90% of scrapyards comply with that. In Natal, 1%.
I disagree with you.
Of,
in South Africa, there's a lot of non-compliance. Not in Natal, not in Gauteng. There is non-compliance across the board.
Corruption is taking place. That's why.
Correct. So you wanted to comment?
Yeah, you see, it's no use us getting technical about the law. The truth is we have a problem, and we have a serious problem. It's not just the copper pipes, but it's also lives that are in danger. So I'm sure most of these criminals have creative ways of bypassing the law. And I think it's up to the guys that stand or hold the law should be finding other ways, creative ways, to bypass that.
You're right. You're right in what you're saying. But remember something. We enforce the law. We don't make the law. We don't write the laws. So I made a point to you early on. I said the people at the upper echelons are the ones who need to change the law so that we can enforce it better. Remember, what plan should I make then to change how the law is written? If the prescript says you need, yes, Kano? You want to come in?
Can I just come in? I'm a CPF member.
Sorry, then I'll bring the mic to you.
Now I can talk.
Don't say you're just an SAPS member. The colonel is the person that actually controls Flash at the provincial level. So Flash deals with second-hand goods and liquor. So let me tell you now who she is.
There's in terms of the Second-Hand Act, there's a routine inspection, a section 28, which mandates a police official to conduct a compliance inspection. Upon conducting a compliance inspection at a scrap yard, a recycle, a dealer, we need to see in terms if they're compliant, they've got a license, a certificate. In terms of a scrap yard, that's where we have got a problem. The owner or the responsible person must have a source document from the person who's bringing it to say that he indeed is bringing it. If it is melted copper or wires, that person must get an affidavit from SAPS stating how he got the document or how it got to be in that prescribed manner. Scrap yards, there's a problem. I've worked the operation before Captain Governor came with my team, with the EITT Eject Winning team. It's a brilliant team. There are scrap yards that are doing that, where we've got on-board crime intelligence. So you will speak bilaterally with the station commander, who will then arrange crime intelligence to monitor that scrap yard, to enforce the act. With that, the act says there must be a 7-day week bin. So if I am bringing stuff in, that scrap yard owner must keep it for 7 days. When we work operations, we usually ask or invite the different institutions like Crossa, Railway, to form part of that operation, so they can easily identify when we go through that 7-day bin, we can identify which metal or scrap or wiring or pipes or copper that belong to, then we can investigate. So I appeal to the community. You know there is an increase in terms of the infrastructure which is affecting our community, which is affecting Malvern. The community is our eyes and ears. Speak bilaterally to the station commander. He will then speak to us if he needs another team to come on board, or he will liaise with crime intelligence. Then we will be able to decrease and the crime in terms of the infrastructure. I don't know if it answers.
You answered my question perfectly. Have some proof of where the copper is coming from for a scrapyard in order to buy it.
Thank you.
Colonel, thank you so much for that. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, I'd like to thank Station Commander Arunachalam for his report. There's also a vehicle that's causing obstruction. It's a white Ford, and I believe it's a Fiesta, BF 44HSZN. If that's your vehicle, we would request that you please move your vehicle so that that resident may leave the parking. All right, we're going to go quickly over to the next item on our agenda, and we're nearing the end. I'm going to hand you over to the Councillor from our area, Councillor Chris van der Berg.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Program Director. All protocol observed. SAPS, Metro Police, Fire Department, and very specifically Malvern CPF. Community members, good evening, everybody. Ma'am, thank you very much. You reminded me of how important community meetings like this is, and how much information and knowledge we have in our community. And when you bring that all together, it makes a huge difference. Given, I'd like to congratulate you and all of the CPF members. You do an incredible job. Ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to what has been said tonight, pretty much by every single speaker, little bits and pieces have come out on just how much the CPF not only do but accomplish. Not only does CPF have a plan, they run putting it in a different way, they've run a practice night. We don't know exactly what they do. We're asleep in our beds when most of it's happening. If there's an accident, there's almost guaranteed to be a CPF member out there rendering assistance. I'd just like to come back to something that was raised to Fire Department, and that was the clearing of the land. A challenge that the city is currently having is with the accounts and being able to put that amount on an account. So it's created a bit of a challenge. The municipality is supposed to be able to do that, but I believe that, or hopefully that, will change with the new accounts program. I'm just going to touch very briefly on water, which is a massive problem in our area. It feels like pretty much every single road has more water running down it than water in the pipes. In the last 2 weeks ago, there were 10,000 outstanding water complaints in the city. This week, the figure was sitting at 15,000. That's an increase of 50%. And this has come up through a problem with the contractors and their payment, and a little bit further behind the scenes. In December last year, the municipality put out a tender for all the contractors to apply to be contractors, and they gave 6 days from the start date. Out of that, the city says there were only 3 compliant contractors. Then they looked at having those 3 contractors having other contractors beneath them. But then apparently they went to the city and said, well, that's not enough money, give us more money. And the city then said, okay, we're going to restart the whole process. A little light at the end of the tunnel is that the city is now saying they're going to rehire all of the previous contractors, but under a CRP funding, which is just another way of paying them, because apparently the Auditor General complained that some of the contractors weren't compliant. So hopefully we're going to see the contractors back and the application open again for the contractors, and hopefully they're going to start attending to the water leaks and not just the burst water pipes, and start reducing the backlog. I know it's late, so I'm going to stop there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, I'm going to proceed with the rest of the agenda. And our next item is feedback from our M7 task team lead, and that is Councillor J. Singh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I'm going to congratulate our community leaders anymore. I think they've done a fantastic job, and well done to the guys. Regarding the M7 task team, we've been involved. I think many leaders before me have gotten involved with the M7, and they've tried, and we are trying. We have made some roadwork, some headways, regarding having the vehicle parked there just before the boundary. And as we've heard, it's reduced a lot of accidents on the road. Saying that, there's still a lot that needs to be done, and we're working with the different authorities to ensure that things do get done. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is a M7 task team member, and that's Mr. Kevin Pillay. Okay, so he's not standing.
I'm saving your time, I know you'll want to leave. Quickly with the M7, thank you, Councillor, for all the work you're doing. Just quickly, I want to say thank you to Captain through you to kind of blow for the vehicle. It has made a difference, a massive difference. I also want to say thank you for all the operations you're having at the bottom of the M7 with RTI and Malvern SEPs. That's also happening, helping rather. But just to enlighten you quickly about the M7, and without speaking out of turn from what Mr. Councillor Singh has said, the issue of the M7 is that and we need to take our hats off to Metro Police, because that is a provincial road. It's not a municipal road. It's not their responsibility to go there. But they have been sent there. Am I right, Captain? So they are doing duties that RTI is supposed to be doing. And that is the challenge, right? So we at one of the meetings raised this. So we had everybody and sundry at that meeting. I think it was at the Pinetown office of the councillor. So we've learnt after that the M7 was moved from a municipal road to a provincial road, and by default the management of that road should fall under RTI. But that never happened. And let me say it with two politicians sitting here, it's politics at play, right? It's a simple fix. Now the challenge is, if you look at Metro Police with the limited resources they have dedicated. Colonel Glover called me when he told me, Mr. Pillay, we are deploying a vehicle 24 hours on the road, 7 days a week, and it's going to have a challenge for us because their operational functions have dropped. They didn't give them an extra vehicle. They didn't give them 2 extra members. They just said, put a vehicle in. Because like the captain said, he used the word echelons. It comes from somebody at the top, because it came after, correct me if I'm wrong, Captain, when the lady passed away at the bottom. Yeah. So that made, the media makes a difference. When things hit the media, mainstream media, it makes a difference. So this is what happened. Okay, it's helping us. But it also has an adverse effect in terms of policing for it. So we need more permanent solutions. RTI needs to take over the road. The problem is they finish at 10. See, you can see our problem. The other problem I have as a member of the task team is I cannot get any information, but I'm glad the captain mentioned the name, from ETA. ETA is the Integrated Transport Authority. Statistics matter, and I work with only statistics. So we want that information so we know where we are. But we threw a spanner in the work, the councillor know, we wrote a letter. So we want this M7 to be moved to, well, when I say moved, you know what I mean, to Sandrail. Then it becomes a national route. But when we did that application, we were actually told that there was another application put in 2016. So you can see the problem here. No one's going to listen to Kevin or Councillor J. But it needs to go. Now the challenge we're having here is this, and these are the things these gentlemen on the right won't be able to say because of the uniform that they get told. Now the challenge is Sandrail has requested that trucks use the M7 to bypass the N3 bridge. Because remember that construction is, now they're jacking the bridges up and they want to reduce the vibration. Correct me if I'm wrong, Captain. They want to reduce the vibration on the bridges because they're raising the bridges all the way from Marineal, I think, whichever ones they're doing. Now we paid the price. People died because of it. And these are the things you all don't know. And that's why I like to attend these meetings, because like I said, I don't have silver and gold on my shoulders. I say it on behalf of the community because that's who I represent. Now, the Sandrail, ETA, Metro Police, RTI, M7 task team fight will continue until we get it done. But I can tell you honestly, and I know the councillor liaises with the powers that be. I think almost every week there's communication, and he gets a little bit frustrated at times because they don't reply. It's like, I don't live there, I don't care, I'm not interested, right? But the only light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't know if it actually is one, councillor, is when the N3 upgrade is complete. We were told, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that this road will be rehabilitated after the N3 is completed, because that is done by Sandrail. Now, I don't know if you know, last year's budget speech, Sandrail's budget was cut by 8 billion. So if you think we're going to get this road moved, I don't think it's going to happen. But the only hope I have is that once the N3 upgrade is completed, this road will be rehabilitated, but the M7 task team will continue to push the agenda that we want, which is to make the road safer for all the road users. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Pillay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take up too much more of your time. I'd just like to let you know about some upcoming events that are going to be taking place. So on Saturday, our team will be at the Malvern Park Mall, collecting blankets as well as selling some raffle tickets. We also send out messages almost weekly about our biryani sales, and that obviously assists us to achieve our aims and objectives as a CPF. All our fundraising initiatives, all of that money spent going back into the community to ensure your safety. We also have a big event coming up on the 11th of September. We'll be sending out communication regarding that very shortly, and that is our annual golf day. The day will be taking place at the Bluff National Park. And as soon as we send out that communication, you'll be able to get hold of myself or Dion to make your booking. We're also looking for sponsorships for watering holes. If you don't know what that means, you can chat to myself or Dion and we'll explain exactly what that means. So we had a great day last year at Bluff National Park. So we had a lot of golfers coming through. It's an ideal opportunity for you to advertise your business as well. Remember, we also have the Operation Night Watch slides that go out every morning, and we have attached advertising to that, and those are for businesses that are obviously supporting the initiative. Chair, anything else from us? Alright, so a big thank you to everybody for being here once again. Thank you for those of you that have stayed on. It has been a long meeting. We'd like to say a big thank you to the pastor and his team here at Salt and Sunshine Ministries. We really appreciate the opportunity to host this meeting here. Chair, our next meeting, we'll be advertising that on all of our community groups. So please do keep an eye for that. From my side, please keep safe. You've heard everything that needed to be said regarding Tuesday. Keep yourself safe, and if you see something, please say something. Ladies and gentlemen, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, and please travel safely. The Romeo team, if you could please remain behind for our meeting.
Yeah.